Well. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. Waking up for a nice and late morning over here from Tallinn, Estonia. Very difficult to not say Helsinki, Finland. But of course, as always, want to wish you a very special start to your new week, your new cryptocurrency Monday. And of course, with new Mondays come new opportunities. We got plenty of higher time frames closing the last, 10 or so hours. So plenty new things to talk about. Anyways, without further ado, as always, wish you the best, the happiest of the happiest. My God, let's waste no more time. Let's get into live stream right here, right now. Teleportation initiated, and there it is. Bitcoin in all of its glory on the daily. Let's actually go over here to good old Bitstamp. Let me just make sure that I'm actually recording. Okay, good, awesome, great. And overall, you do see that Bitcoin is having a nice close yesterday, actually closing well above all major moving averages. Yes, we are kind of slumping down today, but you do see moving average support coming in right around 7,700-ish area. A few ticks below that, about 7,650 is where it's going to really line up with, and that's going to be confluent with our next area on the on our lower time frames. But while we're on here on the higher time frames, I do want to spend some time just talking about this. We do see daily Stokes actually still coming down a little bit, so price action has been moving up while daily Stokes actually come down, price action above all major moving averages, and we do see yet again another major moving average actually getting closer and closer to crossing above getting a lower period crossing above a higher period. This is the cyan 89, and that's the blue 377 exponential moving average. If they can cross the upside, then that would be my sort of signal for just another macro event essentially occurring, saying that the overall trend is switching more long term to bullish. If we can get all of these moving averages above that blue 377 exponential moving average, then well, that is your traditional bull market essentially. So with the way that that's kind of situated, it is going to, we are going to see that 89 cross in the next day or two, assuming that Bitcoin doesn't dump back below 6,000 in that time frame as well. Anything's possible, of course, when we're talking about good old cryptocurrencies. And I think that I've actually fixed my camera as well, although I probably do need some more lights. My God, man, that light just does not look that powerful. Anyways, with that said, I do want to take a look at our daily RSI. Yes, we did have that bearish divergence, but I would say that it's majorly played out. We're just oscillating between the bullish control zone and the neutral zone right over here. Yes, we are kind of getting rejected by the exponential right there, but overall, I would consider this a decent enough setup. More importantly, going over here to the 12-hour, we actually do see 12-hour Stokes actually crossing back up to the upside. So we spoke about this yesterday when they're looking weaker, and this is now confirmed back up to the upside. And again, a very powerful move just because Bitcoin was slumping down the days prior. But of course, we've seen this a million times with very violent, down swings, and then we never break the 21 exponential. And that's why I have that rule where as long as you have the golden cross right over here, as long as you're above all major, or as long as you're above the 21, I'm not short. And this one just getting reaccumulated as 12-hour Stokes moved down during that time, and then price action essentially floating sideways and then up. So to me, just allowing it to reset, and it's by no mistake that that our Stokes cross back up around the bullish control zone. So bull is still in control as far as I'm concerned, and we do see another confluent region right around that 7650-ish area, showing us support. So let's go down to the lower time frames now, as that is where actually most of the action has been going along. We do see 4-hour Stokes actually crossing the downside, so I am kind of looking for a pullback here. But like I said, anywhere around 7550 to 7600 is kind of where I'm looking for support. If I put on my drawing tools right here, I should have a nice blue box territory. There we go. Let's put it right over here, and that's essentially where I'm looking towards. As long as Bitcoin holds this, I actually do think that will be a little bit of a buy. And as long as we are essentially crawling up this trend line right here, this is the more bullish look. We are kind of forming an ascending triangle, which would be a bullish reaccumulation pattern. So I know a lot of people are calling this a head and shoulders, and yeah, it did kind of look like one when we had left shoulder, double head, right shoulder right over here. But of course, these sorts of patterns, these counter trend patterns, usually don't play out all that well. And so everyone everyone kind of calling that out, showing a little bit of naivete in my opinion, just because this one very obviously reaccumulation, especially after we set in this area right over here. So overall, to me, I do go with the former trend. The trend is your friend until the end of the trend, and the trend right now is to the upside. All time frames are bullish except for technically a monthly, just because, well, the monthly is going to take some time, right? We got to close this monthly above like 7,700, and then we actually will have our first higher high in the monthly for the first time in about a year and a half. So overall, tides are shifting is what it looks like to me, but lower time frames, yes, probably do have a little bit of downside here. Whether they come down to 7,800 or all the way down here to about 7,600-ish area, kind of irrelevant to me. Scalp plays possible on both those areas, and then of course, if we were to come back all the way down to this rising trend trend line right here, I think that that would be a very, a very insightful thing to see how we react around this area. Because if Bitcoin, as long as Bitcoin holds this trend line, I would run with the assumption that this is an ascending triangle. And if this is an ascending triangle, then we can actually come up with a price target off this based off a measure move. Let's just apply this right here, right now, doing a very bad job of it. I've seen like a lot of people try to do this as well. Understand when I'm doing these live videos, I don't do this exact, and it's for a reason. It's just, I don't want to give away my own targets, right? But overall, would be pointing somewhere into the mid to upper 9,000s is what I can say. So that's kind of where I'm coming out with that. And yes, I do think that's quite possible, especially with the way that Bitcoin's been acting. This pattern has just been reaccumulated is what we're looking at. This is not disputation what we're looking at. This is reaccumulation. And again, people suggesting otherwise, I think are drastically misleading. Now, also the thing is that if this is a bullish pattern, if this is an ascending triangle, which more often than not is going to be resolved to the upside, not always. So I've seen every fucking pattern break out every goddamn which way. That's why I only care about support and resistance. Do we break this to the downside over here? Then we're coming all the way down, probably towards low 6,000s. So break this to the upside right over here, going up to about 9,600 plus. So keep in mind though that if this is going to be that pattern, well, the apex on this triangle is going to be coming in all the way in June, like first week of June. So we don't have to stay in this, in it until the apex, of course. But I would imagine that it starts to become extremely likely to break somewhere around the 27th of May. Would I be holding on to that like for dear life? That that sort of time frame? Nope. Of course, if we break this to the upside about 83.50, then yes, I will be looking at a move much higher, about $1,000 higher, or sorry, a little bit more than $1,000 higher to that target that we just spoke about. Now there will be pullbacks along the way on the lower time frames. Of course, it's not just gonna be like a straight fucking erect dildo to the sky. But what it will, but on the higher time frames, that is likely to be the trajectory. Just like if you were to break to the downside right over here below about let's call it like 7,200. It's not going to be like exactly a straight massive red dildo party to the downside, but ultimately I do think that we'd find ourselves down around this, actually around 5,600 to 5,800, somewhere around here. So the stakes are quite high, and realistically, Bitcoin just going to be consolidating right here, and I would give the nod to the bulls, of course, as once again, the trend is your friend until the end of the trend. Now, very low time frames, like I said, looking to me like we want to have a little bit of a pullback. We got 4-hour Stochs crossing down. We got 4-hour RSI looking a little bit just like that. It's not really telling us anything specific, it's just telling us consolidation is what it's telling us. Not necessarily direction. 4-hour Joule is getting, it's not a sell signal or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. In fact, it's actually kind of switching up for a more bullish outlook on it, but it is getting a little bit extended. It's just telling us once again that we are consolidating, which is present on all the time frames. What we see hourly getting down there as well. As far as Stochs go, as far as hourly RSI, we actually do have a little bit of hidden bullish divergence going on now, don't we? Nope, sorry. Actually, I take that back. We do not have that going on. But again, just that of consolidation right here, which, could you call this a head and shoulders? In fact, you actually, well, you actually kind of could. And the measurement would likely point us all the way down towards that next blue box territory, I'd imagine. Something like this. Let's see. Yeah, and there we go. Right there, right in the thickness of that blue box. So if Bitcoin does get back around there, I would be looking for a bounce in this area and, scalpable for sure. And of course, that reminds me to talk about, I actually brought back the scalping series, which I'm very happy about, just because that's been a very fun one. And I stopped it because there wasn't all that much opportunity in the markets anymore. Things, the range was too small, and the purpose of those videos to be in and out fast, right? Get in, get out, and then go about your day. So 20 minutes or less at the very most. And in the past, for the past like 4 or 5 months, we haven't really had those opportunities. Now those opportunities are certainly present once again, as even in like an hourly dildo, we can have a range, of like couple hundred bucks. It's pretty impressive. Anyways, with that said, let's go on, check out our medium time frames. What about the 8-hour? How are we doing here? 8-hour Stochs still up, but again, these have not actually been getting price action that well. But hey, they are up for what it's worth. We do see 8-hour RSI, again, just consolidation. This is all it is right here. So am I looking for a big breakout or breakdown either which way, like right here, right now? Absolutely not, actually. I'm probably looking for more, just more of playing the ranges. So again, top side of the range, 83, let's call it like 83.30. Bottom side of the range, I would tentatively say it is this rising trend line right here. It's going to be coming around 7,200. And if you want to go super by the book, then I'd say right over here. What the fuck's going on with my phone? There we go. Down around 6,900, we'll call it. If 6,900 breaks, and I'd feel extremely confident saying that we're going to see, very, very low 6,000s and upper 5,000s. Although that's not my first look on this right now. My first look is actually just more sideways and probably do break this up to the upside. It's looking strong to me. It is actually looking quite strong to me. And again, this is the beauty of, of using moving averages, just because they keep you in the trade, which I have been keeping, my longs open for quite some time. And I will be getting out of this short on the next down, anywhere around, I probably will play a bounce somewhere around 7,600-ish area. And then if we do take that area out, then I'll just reposition lower, likely around 7,200, because 7,200 is a very big pivot actually, because that is where CMEs closed on Friday. If we remember all the way back on over here. In fact, let's go down to like an hourly. There we go. Massive gap. So if Bitcoin does come back down around here, where they closed around Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, around 7,200, I would be a buyer at the very least for a scalp, but likely does hold this area in my opinion. So overall, this is actually, in a way, to me, it's a question of what do we do first? Do we actually break out to the upside? I know it sounds crazy, but do we actually break out to the upside first, or do we come back down and fill this gap first? Because this gap was quite, massive. Again, another 12.25% gap. I mean, this is just fucking crazy. I can't imagine trading on CMEs where you can't trade on the weekends. Obviously, you can hedge off exchange. Yes, I get that, but it's still got to be extremely nerve-wracking for the people out, trading on exchange like that, saying, "What the fuck is going on here, man? We just had a 10% move and I can't trade." That's scary to say the least. But yeah, if we did come back down around here, I would be looking for, at the very least, a bounce right around this 7,200-ish area, which, guess what? Where does that line up with on our spot charts? It's going to line up with this rising trend line right here, which would kind of, really round out that case for this being an ascending triangle, which, again, is a bullish reaccumulation pattern. Going on over here into the weekly. Weekly closed pretty damn strong as well. Let's go over here to Bitstamp, more price action history, and we have confirmed the the green 55 exponential moving average above the cyan 89 exponential moving average. And look at this, we actually even have the red 10 simple getting above both those moving averages in the same tick, and we do have the yellow 21 exponential moving average migrating very, 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 very close. And barring any sort of massive dump to the low 6,000s this week, we will actually get the yellow 21 crossing above those two as well. And all of them gaining divergence away from each other, lower periods getting above higher periods. That's good. Look at this, increasing volume to the upside. That's really fucking good. And the weekly as far as spot charts go, close really well. Now, here's the thing. If we go over and look at CMEs, they do not have that same close. In fact, this is more of a reversal-ish type dildo. So again, on extremely heavy volume. So we do have a great divergence between these two exchanges. Which one do I revert to? Actually, the CMEs, but I am more upside minded right now. We do see weekly Stokes actually still headed up. They did not cross down last week because the close was so strong. We do see weekly RSI getting way up there as well. Again, levels that we haven't seen since December 2017. But hey, it's still okay until we actually set in some divergence. I'm not too concerned about it. Did we confirm a higher high above this guy right over here? Well, we obviously did above this guy right here, but this one closing, I'm curious where this one closed. 82.16. Where did we close this guy? 8,200. So no, we have not confirmed above this high on a weekly just yet. And of course, the monthly going to be closing in about 10, 11 days, and that's going to be the next big one for the higher time frame trend. If the monthly can close anywhere above where this guy closed at about 77 and a quarter, actually 77.25 and a half. Then we have our first higher high in a very long time, ever since December 2017. So it's been, it's been what, like a year and a half. We also have monthly Stows crossing back up to the upside and gaining momentum, more importantly. And we do see monthly RSI actually taking out the exponential in this. So at some point, I would be looking for a pullback to test that exponential. But if we can even just close above this exponential, that looks very good to me. And again, I know I say this all the time, but this is so fucking important. This is why I talk about these higher time frames. This is why the 21 exponential moving average is so important on the monthly to me, because as soon as we close above it in May, that was my impetus for taking these longs and holding on to these longs for a long time. That was my look in traditional markets to be generally bullish, generally bearish. And the second, as soon as Bitcoin took it back above, well, that's when I started, holding these positions for a while. And I will look to hold them for a while, as we will have a chance to both open and close this monthly dodo above the 21 exponential moving average for the first time in about half a year. Sorry, more than that, since September or August, whatever month is before that. I don't even know. The months are like so crazy. Anyways, okay, cool. So spoke about that. What else do we want to talk about? I mean, monthly Jewel did get pretty far down there. Actually, the furthest down that we've ever really seen it. Um, and yeah, just kind of showing that the higher time frames are switching around. But technically speaking, yes, on the monthly, we do not necessarily have an uptrend just yet. We need both a higher high and a higher low. We're going to have a chance to make a higher high this month. And then at some point, we're going to come back down and make everyone sweat their balls off and set a higher low. Where does that come in around? Well, it's going to depend how high we get on this first move, and that's really what it's going to be bringing me back towards. So let's play around with some numbers now. I actually do think that Bitcoin's going to have about a 30 to 40% retracement, a very nasty retracement, sometime in the next I don't want to give time frames because I don't really think that it can be done, but it's likely going to happen after setting this next high, and I believe that it happens either where we are currently from our current situation at about 8,200 high, or we actually make that next move towards almost 10,000 essentially. So where am I getting this from? Well, I'm basically getting it from the 3-day jewel, which is once again in critical territory. We are inching our way up. We are getting this light blue oscillator into the more critical zone, but it's not until we get this light blue oscillator into the more, into like the 88 to 90-ish read. So if you have access to the jewel, I would mark these areas off because they do, this has had some damn good indications in the past, calling not just not just our market cycle lows so far, but also significant highs along the way. And each and every time that we do call a high, I mean, these things are signaling massive pullbacks. 30% right over there, 30% right over, or 40% right over there. You get the idea, right? 35% right over there. Let's just kind of mark to the middle and say 35%, right? Well, if we were to take out a 35% retracement from our current area, which, to be fair, is actually not being signaled by what we're looking at on the jewel right now, then that would kind of land us back around 5,500, which is a massive base. Look at all these moving averages converging right around the 5,500-ish level. We do have the 3-day 200 exponential moving average coming in right around there. We have the daily 377 exponential moving average coming in right around there. We do have the 2-day 200 exponential moving average coming in right around there. We do have the weekly, all of these moving averages coming in right around here. We do have the monthly, of course, coming in, the 21 exponential moving average coming in right around there. And of course, that is just a massive, massive base for the bulls. So as long as Bitcoin maintains above that, I would actually run with the general assumption that Bitcoin is bullish. But remember, even if Bitcoin is bullish, does that mean that it can't have a 30 to 40%, retracement? Of course it can. And that's why, that's going to be my next big buying opportunity for like a longer term trade, right? So with that said, going back to the 3-day digital time frame, it's not until this light blue gets into this more critical zone and then gets a negative slope when these massive downturns are called. So this could take some time. Remember, this is a 3-day digital time frame, so each and every tick is 3 days worth of price action, and it just, while it's kind of actually flat right here, it would take another maybe 1 to 3 ticks, actually not even 1, but 2 to 3 ticks to get us back in this range if we do start making our way towards 10,000. Now keep this in mind as well. Remember, we were watching this last week. We were monitoring this last week because I checked my phone, make sure that this is okay. Great, there we go. Jesus Christ, man, the fuck, man. It's like people always send me messages, hey man, are you streaming today? Hey, yeah, I'm making it right now, man. Just it's all good. It's all good. Sorry, sometimes the messages can get a little bit overwhelming, although I do appreciate it, don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound ungrateful, but at the same time, it's like holy shit, you wake up and it's like, hey, it's too much to think about right now. This was a major thing that I was monitoring coming into Saturday, of this past Saturday. Did we close above or below this white 200 simple moving average right here? We closed above, we confirmed above, and to me, that makes me actually bullish. You can see that we came back down, retested it the next day perfectly, and then since then have rallied off it. I really like that move, actually. So to me, we are getting damn close. This would be a bullish setup. I know people are looking at this like a hangman dildo. Yes, you could say that. It technically is, right? Which would be a bearish reversal pattern, or sorry, a bearish reversal dildo, but until we actually get follow through below it, I would not be incorporating that look onto it. So this is actually confluent with our look on CMEs, right? If we go back to the CME weekly, if CMEs actually do close, or sorry, if not even just close, but if CMEs do take out the current low of the prior dildo at 63.20, that would immediately, in my mind, make me look for a retracement back down to about 53 to 5,500-ish area, somewhere down around here. And this should be confluent with some of our fibs. If we put on a fib right here, sorry, let's actually adjust for our current high. If it was done from our current high, assuming that this is our top, then yes, 618 would be a legitimate target with potential of the 786 down around 4250-ish area. So even if we, it sounds like a lot to wait for 6320 to get taken out, but if you're looking for $1,000 move after that, it's not really hard to wait for. And like I said, if Bitcoin does break 6,900 on a lower time frame, like a 4-hour dildo, let's say, I think that would be a preliminary warning that we will be taking out that area. So could probably scale into a starter position. Of course, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but that is how I would trade, and I would take that position myself. You do see that the fibs are actually very confluent if we do take this 8,200-ish high as a top, or sorry, 8,500-ish on CMEs. Now, here's the thing. If we actually do move our way up to 10,000 first, or let's say let's be a little bit more accurate and say 9,600, where would that land these fibs once again? Well, actually they're still confluent with these areas, not the same areas, but still powerful horizontals, right around about 5,600-ish area would be the 618, and the 0.5 would be right around 6,400. So let's just kind of let's say that we actually got that 35% retracement from the 10,000-ish region. Well, that would land us right around the 618, right around here, right on the 5,600-ish level. So I do think that we actually do have one of those very nasty retracements. It's 5,600. I do think that we have one of those very nasty retracements. The question is, do we have it from our current area, or do we have it from the, give or take 10,000-ish area? And we're going to be, I do kind of lean to the upside right here. So I actually do think that we do take another leg up and then probably fall down and have a very, 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 very nasty retracement back down. Guess what's going to be happening around 5,600 by the time that, Bitcoin would even be in the talks of that. And this is like very mental masturbation right now, but just kind of stick with me for a second. Well, guess what? The monthly 21 exponential moving average on spot's going to be probably right around there on the next tick. We're currently at around 5,500 or a few ticks below there. So you'd imagine on the next tick, when we get the next monthly, the 21 is going to be coming in somewhere right around there. So that'd be enough to make everyone hold their breath for a second, sweat their balls off, and get a lot of people out of their positions. But of course, this is more longer term look, right? It's not happening today, not happening tomorrow, not even next day, but maybe like months out, right? Anyways, okay, so we spoke about that. Let's go back to the weekly for a second. I do want to follow up with the weekly Trollinger Bands, as these have actually been getting things pretty well as well recently. And guess what? We closed yet another weekly dildo above the top Trollinger Band. So where's our top Trollinger Band coming in right now? About 7,600. So any move back down around 7,600 to 7,200, I would be looking for support actually. If you're familiar with the Trollinger Bands, every time that you trend outside or below the more what's it called? The further out Trollinger Bands, what do you want to call them? The more extreme cases, that's for extremely strong trends. It's a good sign, is what it is, and we're still closing outside. So to me, that's actually more likely to get more continuation than not. Just like over here, Bitcoin was just zooming ahead, making new high after new high after new high for about a month and a half. This is kind of the same setup with increasing volume. I mean, this is a very powerful thing right here. That's why I do think that 9,600 is a little bit more likely right now than the downside. But of course, I do not trade my opinion. I trade technical analysis. So if we do take out that critical 6,900-ish level, maybe even 7,200, if you want to be like super forthright, then yes, I might be. Jesus Christ, what the actual fuck? Then yes, I will be. I probably will scale into a little bit of position, and then probably full position right around 63.50, we'll call it. Trollinger Bands confluent with what we're looking at, and saying that the trend is quite strong to the upside, and the trend is your friend once again until the end of the trend. Let's go back to the 2-day. Hey, what the fuck's going on over here? There we go. Just getting notifications on my computer all day long. Let's take off the Trollinger Bands right there, put back on the beautiful moving averages. Let's take out the 2-day Stokes, and 2-day Stokes are actually coming down right now, but keep this in mind that there we go. I already have it in there. We do have this rising trend line that we've been rallying off of ever since middle of March. So if 2-day Stokes do come down around this area, which is going to be the top side of the more critical zone, actually would be looking for a little bit of defense right around there. And with price action essentially having a massive wick to the upside, on the prior dildo close and today's dildo, or today's 2-day dildo actually, holding up pretty damn well as well. That's a sign of strength. I mean, 2-day stocks coming down, price action. Not really, man. But here's the thing, and this is why it is a little bit of a time to be cautious. Looking at 2-day RSI, going to be very, 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 very easy to create some bearish divergence on that. Looking at 3-day, same thing with 3-day RSI. Looking at this, Going to be very, 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 very easy to create bearish divergence on this as well. We see 3-day Stochs crossing down as well, which, yes, we do have our first tick on this, but I want to see a little bit. I want to see momentum being gained to the downside. That's when it does call some pretty damn good tops. This guy right over here, this guy right over here, and this guy right over here, for example, of the past, of the past 2018 year. And then of course on the daily as well, we do see that daily RSI going to be very easy to create some bearish divergence as well. So, overall, during these kind of like last attempts, I do feel like, it's more of a time to be agnostic, just because things can get a little bit crazy. You just never, it always goes higher or lower than you originally think. So whichever path that we do take, that is, that's kind of my own warning to myself. It's just, ride it until it gives you a very strong signal, some sort of massive divergence on a higher time frame, or the 3-day jewel kind of telling me that it's time to sell. Something like that is what will get me into a short trade. But for right now, not necessarily. And in fact, you do see once again that the red 10 simple on the daily is coming in right around where? About 7,600 to 7,650. So if we did come down around there, would be looking for support there on the first pass. And overall, Bitcoin just very resilient in this area. I know that people are going to call this bearish divergence. It's not bearish divergence. We don't have a confirmed local high just yet. For fuck's sake, you goddamn bearish divergence or divergence fuckboys to begin with. Not everything's fucking divergence. You can't call divergence on a continuation play. It has to be two local highs compared to each other. Otherwise, everything is going to be divergence ever. You're just going to get butt fucked by every last little trade, thinking that you're a genius because you just learned from Investopedia what divergence is. But just having a little bit of fun. I hope that no one takes that personally. But of course, when we're looking at something like this, to me, it's more important to realize that lower time frames, consolidation, higher time frames, likely continuation. But remember, higher time frames, they take longer. So always have to separate the lower time frames from the medium time frames, from the high and the macro time frames. So keep that one in mind. And I would run with the assumption that this is a bullish reaccumulation pattern, as long as we are rallying off of that 72 to 7,300-ish area, more long-term, confluent with the CME's gap down below. So I do think high probability. As I take a sip of this water, because I'm goddamn thirsty right now. What's really scary right now is that I actually can't tell if my mic's working or not, because for whatever reason, my streaming software is not showing it. So I might have to record this video again, which really fucking scares me, because I'm already probably like 30 minutes deep into it. Great job, Krown. And I talk to myself in the third person, so it just sounds even more ridiculous. Looking at long short data, we do see a great imbalance in favor of the longs right now. Longs paying a tremendous rate. This is very high, not 0.145%. You're going to be paying about, from somewhere between $6,000 and $10,000 a day to hold $1 million worth of contract position, on margin long. That's intense. So if I did have one thing to say that was majorly bearish, this would be it. These people are paying a very high rate to hold positions that are, quite honestly, probably not going to move too much here. I don't think that we break this to the upside like today or tomorrow. So that's dead money right now. And most of these positions probably being added more recently as well. Let's go over and check out where these guys were actually added. We can go into the longs data. Where is it? There we are. And let's go to a daily. Where these guys going long? Yeah, going long yesterday on the 19th of May. Let's actually get a little bit more granular with this. Go to an hourly. And most of these guys adding in somewhere right around here. 19th of May at 4 a.m. my time. Where was that? 4 a.m. my time was right here. So yeah, these guys are in profit right now. But like I said, this to me is looking like, it's looking like we probably spent some time going sideways before trying to legitimately move to the upside. So that's going to be, hold it, you got to really consider, what's your cost per day just to hold a position that's not really moving for you. There's going to be a massive opportunity cost of that. So something to consider. Not only that, but looking at the crypto fear and greed index, a little bit more of a bearish thing as well, as we do see that we're taking in the greedy zone. But the way that I read this now is not necessarily like that. I look at it as anything around an 80 read which we are kind of around an 80, is high now for this sort of segment of the market phase. Just like during the bearish phase, it wasn't necessarily like a 40 was bad, but it was like a 20 was really bad, and then in the teens was like holy shit, right? So it's taking on a new meaning, but we are kind of getting towards that more critical region. So again, it's another thing to consider. Let's go check out. I do want to check out the top shitcoins right now. Of course, as always, a term of endearment. My God, man, getting so many messages about that. It's just a term of endearment. It's just a lot easier to say. That's all I can say about it. Looking at Mr. Buterol over here, very good close on the daily. Looking at the weekly, very good close on the weekly. The weekly does make me think that we likely rally off this area. If the weekly were to come back down to about 236, that would be a buying opportunity in my opinion. We do have a bullish cross in these moving averages right here, and these in the 55 and the 89 did get a bearish cross, about a couple months ago, but they are converging on each other's sides, telling us that the trend is weakening and strengthening to the upside. We do see weekly Stokes actually still headed up after a little bit of a starter step, and longer term, I would say that's probably still have that target of about 380-ish in mind, 375-ish area. Overall, I like this setup right here, and even if we did come back down, like I said, to 235, that would be a buying opportunity in my opinion, whereas 235, right around the blue 377 exponential moving average. So I do like the confluence between that as well. Again, though, whenever we're talking about an altcoin, probably easier to just watch Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's going to set the pace, and then the altcoins get to follow. So Bitcoin's very strong right now, so the alts get to kind of ride off that, and we get to see like the order of strength, right? It's the order of like the pecking order, I guess you could say. We got Bitcoin moving first, then then you're strong. So Mr. Buterol strong, Litecoin strong, Bcash actually quite strong, and look at this, Mr. Buterol actually just got a golden cross. So a golden cross and above all major moving averages right now. I'm not bearish on this, and actually just broke the 377 to the upside. That's good. It's pretty damn good. I'm bullish on this as long as we're above the yellow 21 exponential moving average. So overall, I do like this. I do like this setup. And that's really what I have to say about that. And maybe if we go down to the lower time frames, lower time frames look a little bit droopy here. Probably do come back down to that 235ish region, maybe even 230. Or sorry, 230. What is this? 232. But I do think that would probably be a buying opportunity. Do you see 4 Astos coming down? So yes, I do think that it is a little bit droopy here, just like Bitcoin looks as well. But I do think on first pass, at the very least, those will be bought. Let's go check out Mrs. Litecoin. Speaking of the devil, that beautiful bitch. Looking at the daily, looking good, coming down all the way to the 10 simple. Do you imagine that we probably try to bounce off this area right now? Daily Stokes are down, but price action, not really so much. In fact, this just looks like, this, call me crazy, but this actually looks like a cup. It looks like a very fucked up cup and handle, but it is a cup and handle. We're trying to put in a handle. So as long as this thing remains above $84.50, I would run with the bullish assumption on this. If we break $84.50, then yes, I would be looking for at the very least move back down to $78 and then likely $71. And again, right here we do have the golden cross. We're above all major moving averages. Hard for me to be bearish off something like that. Daily RSI is just out of consolidation. Looking at the weekly is kind of salvaged its close. Not the best close of all time, but certainly not not bad either. And more importantly, looking at the weekly Stokes, they've been coming down for the past 4 weeks, and price action's been moving up actually, up pretty aggressively too. So that to me is a good sign, a good signal. And longer term, and I'm talking like maybe whiles away. Target area is still somewhere right around 115 to 125-ish area. Maybe I adjust that to 145. Overall, looks fine to me. Especially when I zoom in right over here. This is that nice increase in volume that we see coming out of a massive slump. So to me, that is quite powerful. Let's go check out what the other guys are doing. What about Cardano? Looking at this one versus Satoshi's. Pretty good close on the weekly, actually. So I do think that this one has, at the very least, set in a local low here. I do think that Mr. Cardano probably does try over the next few weeks to take a stab towards 1350, maybe 1400. No, 1350-ish area. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. Looks fine to me right here. That was a very good weekly close. So I do think that the that downside's kind of limited right now. If it did come back down to about 930, I would expect it to be bought. Although daily does look droopy. I will say that daily is not very strong. Got the death cross right over here. Does this one come down? Let's go look at it versus the dollar. Even though right now, I don't think that looking at things versus the dollar is the best idea, just because Bitcoin's been in an uptrend for a while. So you really want to be measuring yourself against Bitcoins. Otherwise, you want to know if you're going to be making more money by just holding Bitcoin or holding, insert pet altcoin here. Daily does look like it wants to move up. Versus USD. So I would say that probably back up to the prior high at 9.5 cent-ish area. Okay, what else we got? BNB cone, what's he doing? Making new highs like it's his job because, well, CZ is his new job and very powerful, very, 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 very good. Looking at the weekly, very good close on the weekly. Any move back down to about 25 and a quarter, I do imagine would be bought and would be a buying opportunity. We do see weekly Stokes headed down, but that's okay. They're gonna be stuck in that zone when trends are very strong. Overall, I like it. Like I said, daily support down around about $26, but anywhere between about 25 and a quarter and 26 bucks. I do think that this one does actually give you, another chance. 4 hour does want to come back down to about 27 and a half, first stab, and then we'll kind of reassess from there. But overall, looks fine to me, man. Very, 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 very good close on the weekly. Zcash, what's Zcash doing? Is he following the market strength? Lower time frame is kind of droopy there. Higher time frames did take that leg up towards $79.50. Target hit on that one, but definitely relatively weak. I wouldn't get bullish on this one until we actually break the 200 exponential at 79.5 bucks, or what is it, 79? Yeah, about 79 bucks. If we can break that, then yes, I would be targeting to move much higher, somewhere right around like 98, 99ish, 99ish, probably just 100 bucks. But overall, certainly on the weaker side. Bcash, stronger side, definitely on the stronger side. Very good close yesterday, actually. Even with daily Stokes coming down, very, 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 very nice. Looking at the weekly, looks to me like it wants to give another go at $500. Overall, definitely one of the stronger ones. Daily support right around 385, 384. Yeah, 4 hours looking a little bit droopy here, but support is lower. Tron Cash, what's Tron Cash doing? 4 hour looking droopy. Looks like it wants to come back down to 2.63. Daily, yeah, support down around there as well. Daily Stokes are down right now and actually getting rejected from the bullish control zone, so I don't like that. But weekly looks fine to me. If weekly did pop back down to about 2.58, 2.55-ish area, probably actually a buying opportunity and probably does try its way higher. Weekly Stokes crossing back up to the upside. I do think that it gets another go at the very least at 3 cents, and a little bit more longer term, if it can fall in Bitcoin step about 3.9. Neocash, good close on the weekly, probably does come back down and test about 1090 to 1050ish area, but I do think that area does get bought up. Same thing on here, weekly Stokes coming down, but price action essentially been flat. To me, that's a decent setup. Going off the daily, support right around 1090. So I do think that it does try to bounce off that area. EOS Cash, another one of the stronger ones. Daily Stokes will be crossing down here. Support is $6, we'll call it. Weekly, very good close as well. I do give the nod to the bulls, like longer term, probably does make a run towards, longer term about 8. What is this, like 8 and a quarter, we'll call it. Longer term, though, lower time frames are looking droopy right here. They want to come back down and stab like 599, 598. What else we got? Mr. Ripple Me Nipples. How we doing, my friend? How we doing? Did we have a good weekly close? Yes, we did. Hey, very good weekly close. Technically, I'd look at this on a weekly as a good buying opportunity. Weekly Stokes crossing back up to the upside. Ripple does have some pretty nasty wicks sometimes. So if Bitcoin did play out that move down to 7,200 first and foremost, I would be looking for move back down to about 37 to 36 cents region, and that probably does get bought. But very good close on the weekly. And I do think that it does try higher overall, likely towards 51 cents. But again, going to depend on whatever Bitcoin does. Holding the 200 exponential pretty damn well right now, so I do like that overall. Monero Cash, what's he doing? Again, another one of the stronger ones for sure. Decent close on the weekly, not as good as some of the other ones, but decent enough. I do think that this one does get a try towards 113. Looking at the daily, daily just came back down to support. Needs to hold this area, does need to hold about $83.50, but it does look to me like it wants to do that, and we are about to get a golden cross on this one as well, so I would be looking for a move ahead. This one's looking okay. It's looking pretty damn good, actually. Stellar Cash, what's he doing? Same thing as all the others, pretty much. It's not as strong, I'd say. But okay. Weekly support down around 12 and a quarter. If 12 and a quarter does get stabbed, I would be looking for it to be bought up. Next move tentatively around 18.5 to 19 cents region. Again, gonna follow the rest of the market. Not gonna move really on its own. And we want to talk about SPYs really quick. Yeah, SPY's very interesting. Weekly did have a decent close, But I'm hesitant to call anything here right now. I want to see how we open up. If we open up anywhere near 281, I'd be bearish. If we open up anywhere above 281, probably bullish for a move back towards 290. If we open to the downside, I would be looking for a move towards 276. See what the monthly looks like. Monthly going to be closing in about 11 days, and yeah, the monthly is going to really dictate the pace. Do we close? Do we close anywhere above 284, or do we close above 284? I'm bullish. Do we close below 284? Bearish. If we close above 284, then it does look to me a little bit more bullish than not, just based off the monthly Stokes defending the same region for the past 10 years. But yeah. Going to be a little bit of a waiting game. I would not be making calls right now. So Bitcoin, going back on Mr. Bitcoin, looking like we will make that little bit of a stab lower. Tentatively speaking, like I said, targeting a move towards like 76 to 77ish area. And if that area fails, then I would be looking for that move back down to the and then we're going to if that area did fail, then we would get clarity on whether this is going to be a bullish reaccumulation pattern or not. Because if it does come all the way back down to 7,200 and bounces strong, that would be a very good indication. If we do break 7,200, that's the first warning sign, but it's not game over just yet. Game over for me is breaking 6,900 to the downside, and that's going to likely lead on to a more powerful move, powerful retracement down into below 6,000 most likely over time. Not going to be at the snap of fingers, but for right now, just rangy shit. Of course, upside area. 83.20, 83.20, 83.30 resistance, more preliminary support right around 7,600, but that doesn't really change the overall outlooks. And more strong support, more important support, I should say, is about 7,200. So these are the areas where things actually change if we do break out to the upside, which I don't think happens just yet. I do think that it probably does get a legitimate chance over time, over this coming week. Then yes, I actually would be targeting a move into the into the 9,000s, 9,600, tentatively speaking. Like I said, move to the downside right over here. Then we start talking about back below 6,000. So the stakes are high right now, and overall, like I said, I run with the assumption that Bitcoin's bullish as long as we maintain above about that 54 to 5,500-ish pivot. So with that said, I think that's going to do it for me today. I'll be back on later with some more live stream action. Looking forward to seeing you there. Perhaps I'll find a scalp in between as well as. Well, I do need to go to the gym in a little bit. So I'm going to close this video up. Hopefully the mic's been working. And with that said, I want to wish you well and take care.